Rabbi Nechunya, the son of Hakana, would say, one who accepts upon himself the yoke of Torah is exempted from the yoke of government duties and the yoke of worldly cares. But one who casts off the yoke of Torah is saddled with the yoke of government duties and the yoke of worldly cares. That is Ethics of Our Fathers, chapter 3, verse 5. The above Mishnah contrasts natural obligations against heavenly obligations. The Bartanura explains that the yoke of the kingdom is the obligations imposed on a person by the king and his ministers. This comes out to be things like obeying civil law, paying taxes, and going into the army. The Bartanura explains that the yoke of worldly cares is the labor and aggravation involved with earning a living, and according to his craft, he will be blessed. The person who accepts the yoke of Torah would be a person whose main preoccupation is religious duties and performing religious precepts. The Kitzur Shulchan Aruch explains that all Jews are required to study Torah, whether rich or poor, healthy or afflicted, young or old. He then quotes the verse, "Thou shalt meditate on it day and night." He then explains that one who does not wish to greatly devote his time to Torah can pay somebody else to do it on his behalf, and brings an example from the Talmud. In it, Azariah decides to pursue a business career, but designates his brother Simon to learn on his behalf and financially supports him. Simon, in return, gives Azariah a spiritual share in his studies and deeds. Going a step further, there is a story in the Gemara. In it, Rabbi Nachman bar Chisda levies a tax on the rabbis. Rabbi Nachman bar Yitzchak protests, saying that he has violated Torah, prophets, and sacred writings. As it says in the Torah, "Indeed the nations are dear, but his devoted ones are in his hands." Rabbi Yoseph commented that the devoted ones are the religious scholars that go from town to town and nation to nation to learn Torah. He then brings a homily from the verse in the prophets to infer that these are the quote unquote few that will be free of the obligations of the kings and his ministers. Following this approach, the Gemara concludes that Talmidei Chachamim should be exempt from taxes. The scriptural analysis seems to be convoluted, but the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch paskins that from the standpoint of the law, a very great Talmid Chacham should be exempt from taxes, whether he is rich or poor. The Meiri describes casting off the yoke of Torah as wasting time in the dealings of the world and not giving over his heart to meditate on Torah and mitzvahs. The Rambam, focusing on the choice, comments that in recompense of taking on the yoke of Torah, Hashem Yisbarach will shield him from the yoke of kings and will lighten up on him the aggravations of the times. Pinchas Kahati expounds on the verse from Job, "Man was born to toil," saying one who does not toil in Torah will be burdened with the yoke of government and the yoke of worldly concerns. The issue of the yoke of Torah or the yoke of the natural world is a deep issue. It comes out there are religious values and worldly values with a dividing point between them, and the person must decide in which camp he stands. The choice will determine lifestyle, where one will live, the job that will be taken, choice of friends, books that will be read. More subtly, it will determine the standards by which a person is judged both by God and man. If a person does not choose Torah, then he will be forced to go along with the crowd and obey stupid laws, even if he knows what he is doing is nonsense and even damaging. On the other hand, if a person chooses Torah, he can pursue it even if it is politically incorrect. In addition, even if it is actually illegal, he will be able to get away with it. To do the right thing is often not good enough. However, if one is a messenger of the Almighty, he will be protected. Thank you.